74,000. According to Hacker Noon's 2018 article, that's how often the term learn to code is Googled each month, showing how eager the world is to learn this skill. My name is Brady Beck, and I've done countless coding projects over the last 5 years. Even if this is your first Arduino project, it's for beginners and will be easy to understand within the next 5 to 6 minutes. This video will teach you how to use an Arduino to turn an LED on and off by first explaining how to wire the circuit you see below before then walking through each line of the code. But first, let's get into what you need. Here you can see what is needed for this project. 2 wires, a 220 ohm resistor, a 2-pin LED, the Arduino Uno board, a cord connecting the Arduino to the computer, and of course a breadboard, which in 2020, Science Buddy said is the greatest tool for beginners who are new to electronics. Now, you will also need a basic understanding of circuitry and coding to complete this project. Let's get into how the circuit is made. We're going to start off by plugging in the LED. According to Switch Electronics, the positive side of the LED is the side with the longer leg. Here you can see it on the left. Keeping the positive side of the LED pointed towards the top, plug each leg into a different unoccupied row on the board. Next, add the resistor, placing one end in the same row as the positive side of the LED and the other end into any row on the board. Next, we're going to add the first wire, placing one end into the same row where we put the second end of the resistor and the other end of the wire into digital port 10 on the right-hand side of the board. Next, we're going to add the second wire. This is going to go from the same row as the negative side of the LED and connect to the ground port on the left-hand side of the Arduino device. Lastly, we're going to connect the Arduino to the computer using the thick blue cable. This trapezoidal end will connect into the silver box, and the USB end will connect into your computer. Before we get to the code, let's quickly review. We first plugged in the LED before adding the resistor, before connecting that side of the LED to the board and putting it into digital port 10. Next, we connected the other side of the LED, the negative side, to the ground port on the left-hand side of the Arduino. Before lastly, we added the thick blue cable to connect it to the computer. Now, let's get to the code. This is the online Arduino IDE. If this is your first time using the IDE, make sure to go through all the instructions posted on Arduino's website. Now, before I get into the code that I've written below, I'm going to distinguish the difference between the setup and loop structures. According to an undated article from Olympia Circuits, the setup structure is only run through one time and used to tell the Arduino device what is located where on the board, whereas the loop structure is used multiple times and runs continuously until the board is unplugged from its power source. In our setup structure, we only use one function call to the pin mode function. This tells the Arduino that we have an output device located at port 10. If you remember, this is where we plugged in the positive side of the LED. Next, we have the loop structure. In this, there are 4 lines of code that essentially turn the LED on and off repeatedly. To do this, first we turn the LED on with the digital write function. If you see, we use the same number 10 to indicate where this is happening on the board, and we set it to high, which in English terms means on. Next, we delay for 1000 milliseconds. It's important to avoid doing a value too small in the delay or a value too large. For example, a value too small of 1 would be way too fast and you would not be able to see the LED turn on. And a value too large, like 100,000 for example, would be too long and you would be waiting around for almost 2 minutes to see if your program works. I recommend staying between 500 and 2000 when you use your delay. This is between half a second and 2 seconds. After delaying for 1 second, we go ahead and we turn the LED off using the same exact line as line number 1, except this time setting it to low, or in English terms, off. Next, we use a second delay function, which is critical. We delay this time to see the LED turn off. If we did not have this line here, then it would immediately jump from turning off to on, and we wouldn't be able to see the LED turn off. Just to review quickly, the loop function is what goes through continuously until the Arduino is unplugged from its power source, and the setup section is what only happens one time, telling the Arduino what is plugged in where. I've gone ahead and added comments at the end of each line. They are not essential, but it's just to tell you what's going on. Now, uploading the code to our device. We use these buttons up here, and you'll select Arduino Uno from the drop-down menu, at whatever port you plugged it into. Next, you click the arrow button. It will save, say it's busy up here in the corner, compile the code, and upload it to the device. After that, it will come up with a success message down here. Now that we've successfully uploaded the code, let's see what the final product should look like. This is the final product. As you can see, the LED flashes on for 1 second and then turns off for 1 second, just as we wrote in the program. This video showed a step-by-step process for completing this project. First, we went through the steps of building the circuit, and then I walked through each line of code. Now that this video is finished, you should be able to complete this project yourself. The skills you learned are valuable for future Arduino projects, and this basic tutorial shows that anyone can learn how to code.